What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports, and the Phillies dropped the second game of this series to the Atlanta Braves by a score of 6-3. Aaron Nola really struggled in this game. He really struggled, and I mean struggled. He did not look like his usual self this year. A lot of pitches left over the heart of the plate, a lot of meatballs, just none of his pitches had any type of break to it. There was no movement. A lot of the fastballs, they were just flat over the heart of the plate. And the Braves were making him pay for a bunch of those mistakes. Austin Riley had a couple of extra base hits, a lot of home runs in this game. Matt Olson with a bomb, Michael Harris with a bomb. So yeah, Aaron Nola, I'm disappointed in this start today. And can you throw that to maybe the Phillies gave him way too many days of extra rest, and maybe that was a factor into it? That could be one of the reasons, but I'm not going to use that as the excuse for this. It's definitely factors into the situation, but overall, Aaron Nola needs to have a way better start than he did today, especially when you have a chance to take the series against the Atlanta Braves in the first two games of a 3-game set. Even though you do still have a chance to take the series tomorrow afternoon at 12:30 with Kyle Gibson on the mound. And yeah, I also did say yesterday that the bats need to help Aaron Nola in today's game, and that definitely was not the case at all because Spencer Strider out there was just absolute nasty, just throwing gas completely. I think Ricky Pitalico said 75% of his pitches were his fastball, and he kept averaging like 95 to 97 on that fastball. My God. Dude was lighting it up, and he was nasty. Phillies could not catch up to that high heat. They just couldn't do it all. The only mistake that Strider made today was a home run to Kyle Schwarber and a couple of base hits to Alec Bohm, who his bat remains red hot and he extends his hitting streak. But overall, the Phillies did try to make a late push. Like I said, Schwarber did hit the solo shot, and you got JT with a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 9th inning. But at the end, it's too little, too late, and too much to overcome for the Phillies in that situation. And they dropped this game. And I take away from this game, I'm just really disappointed in Aaron Nola. And just the narrative is going to come back that Aaron Nola can't pitch when it matters. And that's definitely one of the themes I've been seeing over Twitter over the course of this game. And yeah, Aaron Nola hasn't really, I guess you could say, found a way to stop that narrative. But he desperately needed to be better in this game, and he just wasn't. Like I said, was the extra rest? I think he had like 9 days of rest coming into this game. Like I said, was that factored into it? Probably. But overall, it's not the excuse. It isn't. Aaron Nola needs to have a way better outing in this game. He just does. And Strider dealt. Aaron Nola wasn't able to match him, and that resulted in the loss. Hopefully, the little bit of the late push maybe has some jolt in the at-bats. There were a couple of good at-bats in the bottom of the 9th inning. Bryson Stott had a great at-bat against Kenley Jansen. Worked the count a lot of foul balls, but wasn't able to come up there. So you take this loss. Okay. The Braves took advantage of it, and that's what good teams do. The Atlanta Braves are a way better team than the Philadelphia Phillies. They took advantage of a lot of mistakes by Aaron Nola. Come back tomorrow, and like I think John Kruk said this too in the 9th inning, that you have to treat tomorrow's game like it's the most important game of your season. And I want to see that type of mentality tomorrow from this team. Going up against Charlie Morton, 12:30 afternoon time. I want to see a win tomorrow, and I demand a win. I'll be upset if they lose tomorrow, but we're going to have to wait and see. Going to help Kyle Gibson. There have been moments this year where Kyle Gibson has looked electric, and there have been a lot of moments where Kyle Gibson has looked bad. Which Kyle Gibson are we going to get tomorrow? That depends. But I want to see the bats help out your starting pitcher. Because over the past course, the bullpen only gave up 1 run today. And that was a RBI to Michael Harris in the top of the 9th inning to Nick Nelson. Even though, I guess, if the Phillies did try to make the comeback, a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the 9th inning, maybe something different would have happened. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And your bullpen still wasn't the reason why you lost this game. The bullpen has still overall remained solid. Surprisingly, Familia had a very solid inning. I am very surprised about that. Hey, maybe minimal trade value there. Hey, Dave Dombrowski, get him out of town. I don't want to see Familia anymore. But still, Familia looked fine. Corey Knebel looked solid. And then Nelson allowed that 1 run in the 9th inning, which basically at the end of the day, the game was over by then. But still, this game more, I am looking at Jean Segura. That's not Jean Segura. I said Jean Segura because I see a couple of people talking about Jean Segura in the live feed, but I'll bring that up in a little bit. Speaking of Jean Segura, he also started his rehab assignment today, so hopefully he will be back very, very soon. But what I was going to say when I got distracted by the live feed, even though it's not your guys' fault, but Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, I am just very disappointed in. Just the stuff wasn't there. A lot of hanging pitches. The changeup wasn't there. Really, the only pitch that was working for him was the curveball. Fastball didn't have any bite to it. Changeup, he just couldn't locate it to right-handers. Just a little bit all over the place today. Defense for the Phillies was a lot better today. But even though that wasn't going to solve anything with the way Aaron Nola was pitching in this game, the Braves were just taking advantage of all the mistakes that he threw towards them. And Jesus Christ, it feels like Austin Riley has so many extra base hits when he plays the Phillies. My God. And I think Austin Riley is having an amazing July as well. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. What I would do to kill for a bat like an Austin Riley in the lineup. My God. Just to help this lineup out. Because, yes, Kyle Schwarber does get a home run today, but still he is really slumping. He is still really slumping. What is he like? I think someone posted on Twitter that 8 out of his last 10 hits have been home runs. So when we saw Kyle Schwarber in the month of June, basically to the beginning parts of July to halfway through July, he was hitting the home runs like we know he was, but he was also getting extra base hits. He was getting singles as well, mainly extra base hits. But right now, when he's in the middle of his slump, really the only thing right now that he can figure out is the home run ball. And that still doesn't happen as consistently. It's not happening as consistently as it was in the month of June. But just right now, he is slumping. And there's not many guys in the lineup that are doing things consistently. Like yesterday, we saw what Bryce and Stott did to win the ball game. But still, that's not going to happen consistently because you got to remember, he is a rookie. He's not going to do it every single day. Alec Bohm's bat has still been hot, but when Rhys Hoskins is in the middle of another slump, JT doesn't bat consistently, where Nick Castellanos has been bad all year at the plate, where Didi Gregorius doesn't have the power, even though he almost had an opposite field shot today, but still. When those guys aren't contributing and when Kyle Schwarber is struggling right now, it's going to hinder your offense a little bit. And yeah, you'll have those games where maybe the guys at the bottom of the lineup run a chip in, but you really need those top guys to step up, especially when a guy like a Schwarber is slumping a little bit. You need that game from Rhys Hoskins, but sadly right now, both him and Schwarber are slumping at the same time. And you don't want to see that happen, especially when you got guys like JT, Castellanos, and Didi not providing consistently. I would put more JT in the not providing consistently because technically his numbers have been better since Bryce went down with the injury. It's more Nick Castellanos and Didi Gregorius that have been bad majority of the year. JT lately hasn't just been consistent enough, even though he did have the 2-run shot in the 9th inning, but that's still garbage time when really the game was out of hand, even though they did try to make that comeback. But yeah, just overall, offense needed to step up. They couldn't hit Strider. He was nasty. Really disappointed in Aaron Nola. Just really, 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 really disappointed in Aaron Nola. Just didn't have it tonight. Really didn't have it. And that narrative where he can't pitch in big games is going to happen until he finds a way to prove people wrong. And you know, a way to shut people up, you have a really good August and September. That's what Aaron Nola needs to do. We're getting very close to the month of August here. Really right at the end of July. The end of July is this weekend. So, you know, the one way to shut people up about that narrative, you go out there and have a next couple of good starts. You go out there and have a good month of August and a good month of September. You got to find a way to shut those people up. You can have one of these bad starts here and there, but you can't do it consistently, especially at this time of the year. I need Aaron Nola to step up in the second half. Need him to. And there definitely was some talk from Dave Dombrowski as well over the past couple of days. They were talking about this. I've been seeing it on Twitter as well about like people that they can go after at the trade deadline right now. And they were also talking about like how the market just is entirely right now, where we all know like this year's market is not strong at all. There really isn't many big names beside the biggest name is Juan Soto. Like if you're looking at the starting pitching market, it's not like you're going to be seeing a Max Scherzer on the market like you did last year. You're really seeing a bunch of like, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th type of starters out there. And right now the asking price is kind of high. like from Dave Dombrowski said, other teams are asking for top prospects for like a 4 fifth range type of starter. So right now, I would expect more of the prices to come down as you get closer to the trade deadline when teams start finding those specific values that they want. And in terms of what other things that Dave Dombrowski was talking about, how he might focus more on starting pitching at the deadline. I don't mind that because we have seen over the past couple of weeks, maybe, Zack Wheeler, even though his last start against the Cubs wasn't bad at all. It was a really good start by Zack Wheeler. His last time out, the Phillies just lost that game in extras. But, Zack Wheeler, past couple of outings haven't been the most sharpest from him besides the Cubs one. Aaron Nola, his last 2 out of his past 3 starts have been sluggish. The one game in Miami, he was dominant, but the game in St. Louis on that Monday night and today's game haven't been the best Aaron Nola that we've seen this year. Like I said, Kyle Gibson has been very up and down, very high and very low. Ranger Suarez is still the wild card, even though his past couple of starts have been really good. Zach Eflin, we don't know when he's going to come back. Dave Dombrowski did say he expects Zach Eflin to be back, but he's not going to, wait until that happens. He's going to attack the market to maybe find some starting pitchings for this rotation. So maybe do they prioritize starting pitching and then maybe go out there and get another bat possibly for the outfield? Like I've been bringing up Ian Happ a bunch of times. Maybe they go in that type of direction and maybe they just get cheap rental depth for the bullpen. Because also Sam Coonrod got put to Lehigh Valley as well for his rehab assignment, so you might be able to see Sam Coonrod eventually in a short notice. You still got Mark Appel down there that could get called up. So there's definitely some names out there. Could a Chris Sanchez get moved to the bullpen eventually? They're going to have to do some swapping with this 40-man roster, especially when Segura comes back onto the roster, when Coonrod comes back onto the roster. Hopefully when Coonrod comes back, maybe that's the end for Familia in Philadelphia. Just saying. But there's definitely some moves that this team can make. There's some pitchers that do interest me on the market. Specifically, there was a pitcher from the Arizona Diamondbacks, Merrill Kelly. And if I go to Merrill Kelly's stats right now from Arizona, because he is one of the pitchers that could be on the market this year that could really interest the Phillies. So if we look at his stats right now for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he is currently 33 years old. He is 10-5 so far on the year. He has an ERA, if I can find the stat here, an ERA of 3.04. And I believe in his last outing, he went like 7 or 8 innings or something like that. He was really good in his last outing. If I can find that specific game there. Actually, I'm going to go to ESPN because ESPN will have the better stat here. So if I go to Merrill Kelly, looking at his last start against the San Francisco Giants, yep, they won that game 7-0. That game was on July 25th. He went 8 innings, allowed 3 hits, and struck out 7 with 0 earned runs allowed. Really, Merrill Kelly has been very solid this year, and I believe he has control in his contract as well going into the future seasons. So if I look at Spot Track for the rest of his contract and see how many years he has left, yeah, he has a lot of years of control left too. So if you trade for a guy like a Merrill Kelly, you have 3 more years left to control in his contract. That could be something that interests the Phillies. I'm not sure how much his value would be on the market with the year that he's having. Maybe the Diamondbacks will ask for something, but Merrill Kelly's not going to cost you like a top prospect in your organization. I just do not see that happening whatsoever. But still, really just overall, pitching help definitely could be a use. Maybe starting pitching help can be a lot of use for this Phillies team, especially, with the question marks in the back end. Like I said, Kyle Gibson, Ranger Suarez is still a question mark, a wild card on this rotation, and a Zach Eflin issue. Like I said, you can't go every 5th day with a Bailey Falter, Christopher Sanchez game anymore, especially in this part of the season. You could tread water with it going into the All-Star break. Now that you're in the second half in August and September when the games really matter, you cannot do that every 5th day. You cannot tax your bullpen like that because Christopher Sanchez and a Bailey Falter, they're not going to give you more than 4 or 5 innings each start. I know Bailey Falter in his last game on Sunday went 5 innings, but still he allowed a lot of home runs in that game and he was not good. So like I said, 4 or 5 innings max, that's at least 4 innings for your bullpen there the rest of the way. So that's going to be very taxing for your guys, and you don't want that to happen every 5th day. So starting pitching help, I can understand why Dave Dombrowski is leaning toward that direction. Like I said, they'll probably go after him, maybe get another bat for this lineup because I do expect him to, even though Gene Segura most likely will be back very soon since he is starting his rehab assignment today, and he's going to continue it throughout the week, and maybe he'll be back with the team next week. That's what I heard the broadcast say today. And then whenever Bryce Harper comes back, and then maybe you go out there and get some depth for the bullpen, cheap depth, and then, Sam Coonrod returns as well. So there are things that can come back that can bolster this team. But for today's game, just overall, dud. Dud is what I call it. Even though the score kind of doesn't showcase the entire story, Aaron Nola was just not good in this game. That's the major storyline that I take away from this entire thing. Aaron Nola just wasn't good. That basically sums it up. He went 6 innings in this game, 7 hits allowed, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and 2 home runs allowed, 92 pitches. Familia had a surprisingly solid inning. He only allowed 1 hit and 1 strikeout. Corey Knebel had a very quick and solid 8th inning with 12 pitches and 1 strikeout. Nick Nelson, he had to throw 23 pitches. He got 2 strikeouts, but he also did allow an RBI double. It's really just overall, just wasn't a good game, specifically by Aaron Nola. That's where I go. That even though the offense wasn't good today either, by any means, I more put this on Aaron Nola, not putting your team in the best possible position. That's what I'm saying. Like if you go for this game, you get the first inning and RBI double by Austin Riley. Then you go throughout the rest of it. Michael Harris hits a home run, and you get the Matt Olson home run, Eddie Rosario with an RBI single. And that's basically it. The Phillies do get their runs on 2 home runs in this ballgame by Schwarber and JT. Looking at the entire lineup today, Schwarber back in the leadoff spot. He goes 1 for 4. Rhys Hoskins, he goes 1 for 4. JT Realmuto goes 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the 2-run shot. Derek Hall, he goes 0 for 4 in this game. Nick Castellanos goes 0 for 3. Bryson Stott goes 0 for 4. Alec Bohm, he goes 2 for 4, so his bat's still hot. His average is up to 290 now. So do you move Alec Bohm up in the lineup? I think he kind of deserves it with the way he's hitting the bat lately, especially in this month. DJ Gregorius, another 0 for day for him, and Matt Vierling goes 0 for. In terms of runners in scoring position, the Phillies did not have a single, well, they had 1 runner in scoring position in this ball game, and that was on, I believe it was, who had that chance with runners in scoring position? It looked like it was Alec Bohm, and I'm assuming that was later on in the ball game when he had a chance with runners in scoring position in this game. But still, overall, the offense just wasn't good enough either. So, Aaron Nola wasn't good. Offense wasn't able to hit Strider, who was absolutely nasty. Strider in this game, 6 innings, 3 hits allowed, 1 earned run on the home run by Kyle Schwarber, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts on 90 pitches. Dude was just pounding fastball after fastball after fastball, 97 to 101 mile an hour, and the Phillies just could not catch up to it whatsoever. My God. My God, my God, my God. The only thing that's going to the Phillies' benefit as well, I will say, is that the Cardinals are slumping again. Especially their last series against the Reds. They lost that series 2-3. And now they're in the series in Toronto where they don't have Paul Goldschmidt nor Nolan Arenado. And especially so right now, to the Phillies' benefit, they're not losing, yet they're not gaining any ground. So they're not taking advantage of that situation. So maybe you can put that as like a bright spot, I guess. But overall, you got to win the games. You got to take advantage of those games, honestly. Because if you look at the MLB standings, look at the wild card. You are still a half game out. Still a half game out of that wild card spot. Cardinals are 51-47. Phillies are 50-47. The Giants, they're now 2 games behind that third wild card spot. The Marlins are 4.5. Rockies are 6.5. Really, at this point, you're just looking at the Giants and the Marlins right now. I would say mainly the Giants at this point. So you're not gaining ground and you're not losing ground. Phillies in their last 10 games, they're 4-6. Cardinals, they're 5-5. So there's a good amount of teams slumping in this wild card spot. Look at the Giants, they're 4-6 in their last 10. The Padres, they're 4-6 in their last 10. A lot of teams are slumping. The Marlins are 4-6 in their last 10. Giants, they're on a 5-game losing streak. Yeah, a lot of teams are slumping right now. And you also got the Subway Series going on. That's what, like, even off topic right here. The Mets and the Yankees, they're playing each other. That game should be that type of series should be exclusive to weekends, because that'll be like a nationally televised, like, gold mine right there. But no, you're putting the Subway Series during the week. That just doesn't make sense, in my honest opinion. You get the Friday night game, even though that's not going to be nationally televised, but then you get Saturday night, which is most likely going to be a Fox game. Then you get the Sunday night baseball on ESPN. My God. My God, my God, my God. That's just an off-topic thing right there. That's just something that was weird to me. But I mean, like, why are you not having the Subway Series on weekend where you can definitely maximize, definitely maximize everything there? But still, overall, back to the Phillies. Tomorrow's game, you're going to have Kyle Gibson on the mound going up against Charlie Morton. And looking at Charlie Morton right now, if I can get to the game. So if I look at Charlie Morton, he's 5-4 on the year with a 4.20 ERA, 121 strikeouts, and a 1.23 whip. In his last couple of outings, last game against the Angels, on July 22nd, he went 6 innings in that game, allowed 2 hits and 7 strikeouts, 3 walks as well, no earned runs. Braves won that game 8-1. Looking at his other game, previous game against the Mets on the 13th of July, they lost that game 7-3. He went 5 innings, 6 hits allowed, 5 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 3 home runs allowed in that game as well. 2 earned runs, 0 earned runs, 2 earned runs. So that's really what I'm looking at right here. Charlie Morton, veteran guy. He's got veteran stuff. You expect him to go out there and just be himself at that point. Got to hope the Phillies can find a way to get to him. And you got to rely on Kyle Gibson. You don't, like I said, you don't know what you're going to get out of Kyle Gibson tomorrow. I know, like, the past couple of times I've asked Kyle Gibson to go out there and give himself and go out there and give the Phillies like a outing that they desperately need. He has done that. I'm going to ask him again tomorrow. Fingers crossed here. Hopefully, because you still do have a chance to win the series tomorrow. And then you get this 4-game weekend series in Pittsburgh where you desperately need to win that series against a team that is below 500. Actually, if I look at Pittsburgh, I just want to see the record overall. I know they're a below 500 team. I just want to see how below 500 they are. They are 40-58. They're 18 games below 500. Yes, they are very much below a 500 team. Yeah, there's a series that you desperately need to win. Desperately need to win. Desperately. So yeah, basically where I sum it up right now. I'm not gonna go crazy like most people I see on Twitter and everything like that. Like, seriously, I'm doing the clips for the BrodesMedia account right now, and I'm just like, seriously, after everything bad that happens, like, everyone's saying, it's like, oh my God, the end of the world's happening, all this blah 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 blah. Literally, there's like people in the comment section that only comment when bad shit happen. Like, my God, then don't watch the game. That's all I'm gonna say. No one's putting a gun to your head. No one's going to tell you all this crap. You don't have to watch the game if you don't enjoy watching the team. That's all I'm going to say. Specifically to the people in the Twitter comments. Because they're, jeez, my God. Like, seriously, there's only like some people that comment when bad shit happens. Granted, it's social media and everything's terrible, but still. My God. To those people that comment in the Twitter comments, touch some grass or something like that. But I'm going to go to not the Twitter comments. I'm going to go to my live feed comments, because the live feed comments are always enjoyable, because I do enjoy talking to you guys, because you're not negative Nancy's like some of the people on Twitter. Channel name says bummer. W says talk about an elite rookie pitcher. Really hope Painter comes up throwing just as well as Strider. Oh yeah, that was also something that Dombrowski was talking about too. Specifically, he was talking about Painter, McGarry, and like Riff McGarry and Abel or Abel, or how you pronounce his last name. That's honestly, maybe with the way these kids are going, you can expect these guys to maybe run up the ranks really quickly. Maybe Griff McGarry, you can see him next year. Painter, maybe in a year or two span. If everything goes well, maybe the end of next year. Same thing with McAbel. So maybe these 3 guys can run up the ranks really quickly. And that's something that can help the Phillies really good, is if young starting pitching can come up and really pitch well for this team. Lane says, can we get Harper back now? You're going to have to wait a little longer there, my friend. You're going to have to wait a little longer. Segura coming back really soon. Really looking forward to that. Yeah. Gene Segura starting his rehab tonight. Hopefully we'll return to the team within a week to a week and a half. That's what I heard on the broadcast. For where will he hit in the lineup? Asked Scott. That's a good question. because really he's been up and down when he was in the lineup. He was kind of up and down in the lineup because, Joe Girardi and the constant like fumbling of the lineup when he was here. What will Rob Thompson give him? It's a really tough question because right now I do believe Alec Bohm deserves a shot to hit up in the lineup just with the way he's hitting this month. With all the multi-hit games that he's having, he's brought his average back up to 290. Maybe do you start Gian Segura lower in the lineup, maybe in the 5-hole or something like that? Do you put him in the 2-hole right away? That's a question mark that you got to ask, because then in the 2-hole, you got to move Hoskins back down in the lineup. Do you put Hoskins in the 5-hole? Because I think at this point, Rhys Hoskins is slumping a little bit. Maybe you do have to move him down. And there's going to be a lot of question marks when some of these guys come back, especially like when Coonrod comes back. You're going to have to do some shuffling with the 40-man roster to put 7 guys down, bring some guys up. And that's what I said when Gian Segura comes back into the lineup. I would rather prefer Bryce and Stott play over Didi Gregorius. That's just my personal preference there, because Stott has shown a lot more this year than Didi. I know the numbers for Bryce and Stott don't show it, but he's been a lot more clutch than Didi, especially lately as well. I think the stats don't tell for Stott, because at the beginning of the year, April and May, they were terrible. Yes, he was not good in April and May. He got sent down. He had really good numbers in AAA. He got called back up. He hasn't been a completely different hitter, but the numbers overall, I believe, are better. I think he's batting like in the mid 200s or something like that since being called back up. So overall, and Stott's played really good defense as well this year. So that's why I would want Stott in the lineup preferably. And I wouldn't know. I'm not sure where you play. Most likely you would play him at shortstop and you put Gian Segura at second base. But overall, like I said, I prefer Stott in the lineup over Didi. But that's something you got to figure out down the line when that does happen. Mr. W says underrated thing to take from this game is Schwarber's defense. He was really tracking the ball down efficiently and getting to it ASAP. Oh yeah, that was something I did notice from Schwarber. I know the Dansby Swanson hit in the first inning. He tracked that down really well to prevent a double from happening, even though the Austin Riley double, which was almost a home run. I'm very surprised Austin Riley hasn't hit a home run yet in this series with the way he's crushing the ball. Who knows if that happens tomorrow, but yeah, he was tracking down balls really well, but the Austin Riley double just kind of made it null and void at that point because it was a 2-out double. Swanson was able to score off of it. So, yeah, that happened. Julian says the offense flat out stinks. July has been brutal. They have gone 12 and 15 with 3 runs or less. Yeah, like I said, this month, the offense has not been good. And like I said, it's when Schwarber goes into a slump, especially when Hoskins is also slumping at the same time. When you're not having Didi and Castellanos bat the way that they should be batting, it's not helping your offense at all. It just isn't. And like I said, the young guys down the bottom of the order, Bohm, Stott, they're not going to chip in every single day. It's just not going to happen especially more from Stott. Bohm's been a lot better, but overall, when your top guys aren't hitting consistently, it's going to be an issue for your offense. You're not going to win most games like that, especially with a team that's built around their offense. Channel name says they think the Cardinals have a somewhat decent shot at Soto, which would be a huge bummer for us. Honestly, I talked about this with one of my group chats today. Don't discount the Padres. They have a good farm system. They were in on the Max Scherzer sweepstakes last year. I know Soto and Scherzer are two completely different players. One's a pitcher, one's an outfielder. One's a very elite pitcher, veteran pitcher and all that stuff, elite pitcher, Hall of Fame type of pitcher. And the other one is Juan Soto, who is 23 years old and is a superstar in this league. I wouldn't discount the Padres. Their GM's known to make big trades over the past couple of years. And imagine pairing Juan Soto with Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado. That'd be very fun to watch. That'd be very deadly, especially that lineup. I wouldn't discount the Padres. I know you're also going to have the other teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, all those other teams as well. So it's going to be a thing right there. And especially with the Washington Nationals changing ownership, I kind of do expect Juan Soto to be traded. Because someone brought up a good point, that is, if you're a new owner coming into the team, you don't want to be that person to trade Juan Soto. You don't want that to be your first move of the franchise to allow the fan base to despise you. You just don't want that to happen. So I kind of do expect Juan Soto to be traded at the deadline. Where to? My bet is the Padres. Underrated bet right there. Where were you at? Scott knew the Phillies were in trouble when Strider was throwing much better than his last few starts. Oh, yeah, Strider was nasty today. Strider was nasty. Any specific from Philly Insider Podcast, any specific arms you were hoping the Phillies add at the deadline? So I brought up Merrill Kelly earlier. He is one that really intrigues me. I'm trying to think of like other arms overall because they're not going to be after the guys like a Frankie Montas. They're not going to be after Luis Castillo because even though the market is really weak, those are technically the qualified top pitchers of the market, and they're going to get a haul in return for those type of pitchers. And those are the type of guys that are going to be asked for top prospects in return. So I don't expect the Phillies to be in that type of range. I would most expect them to be like, they go after guys that have control in their contracts, like a Merrill Kelly from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Basically, you're going after what you did for Kyle Gibson last year. That's basically what I'm expecting at that point. Guys that are veterans, they have good stuff. You can rely on them in the bottom part of your rotation. They have control in their contract, something like that. And then for terms of everything else, if you can get depth in the bullpen and another outfielder for the lineup, that's basically what I'm expecting. The Facebook groups are brutal. Man, I do not go on Facebook anymore. Flyers Facebook is brutal. Flyers Twitter is brutal, might I add too. But Philadelphia sports social media is just brutal in general. But still, Facebook, yes, it is terrible. Terrible. Heading into Pittsburgh, you guess both Nola and I do believe Nola and Wheeler will be pitching in that series in Pittsburgh. I do believe. If I'm looking at the Pittsburgh series, yes, Nola and basically if you're looking at the Pittsburgh series, so tomorrow the last game against Atlanta, Gibson versus Morton, and then Zack Wheeler pitches Thursday in Pittsburgh. Friday, Bailey Falter pitches in Pittsburgh, so that's going to be a Bailey Falter game. Saturday is Rangers Suarez, and then Sunday is Aaron Nola. So that's basically what's going to be happening for the Pittsburgh series. And then the 2-game series against the Braves, which Tuesday, August 2nd is the trade deadline. And the Phillies do have a day off in between Sunday and Tuesday. So I would expect that Monday before the trade deadline is probably when you're going to expect some trades to happen from the Phillies standpoint, just because they do have that day off. Then you got that 2-game series against Atlanta. That's going to be Kyle Gibson and Zack Wheeler during that series. And you're going to be facing Strider and Morton again. So that kind of sucks. And then you're going to have the Washington Nationals at home, Miami Marlins, yada, 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 so on and so forth. Rest of the schedule. But still, yeah. Pittsburgh, if you can find a way to win the series tomorrow, that'll be huge. I want the offense to pick it up for Kyle Gibson. But fingers crossed, I'm asking Kyle Gibson to go out there and pitch a really good game tomorrow. He's done it before when I've asked him to. Hopefully he'll do it again. Stott has been awesome defensively, especially at second base. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do think they're going to find another outfielder because lately you've been seeing a lot more of Matt Vierling and you've been seeing a lot less of a Dubal Herrera. And especially I do believe Mickey Moniak was sent down to AAA. So maybe if you trade for an outfielder, maybe like an Ian Happ, maybe you can send them a Mickey Moniak their way and someone else to bring him in here. Because I do expect them maybe to bring someone to possibly platoon with Matt Vierling. Like, say if you bring in an Ian Happ, you could generally say before Harper comes back, you could place Matt Vierling in center field and you could place Ian Happ in right and then DH Nick Castellanos. And then overall, your center and right field defensive positions are way better. That's just what I would say. That's just what I would do. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but possibly something that could happen, in my honest opinion. Soto and Tatis would be, yeah, that'd be must-watch baseball every single day if Soto gets traded to the Padres. Going to the Padres is just as bad for a while. Well, right now the Phillies really aren't, fighting with the Padres for. Right now, I don't expect the Phillies to go for that second wildcard spot. I would say right now the third wildcard spot is really realistic for this team right now. Do the Padres fall off? I have no idea. They did last year, but they are going to get Tatis back eventually. So, and I do believe the Phillies do have the tiebreaker as well with the Padres, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, I don't believe they do. That the season series is tied between those two teams, if I'm correct. Yeah, I do think they tied that season series. But overall, yeah. I kind of believe it would be the Padres, in my honest opinion. I think it's a little bit of an underrated pick. Maybe a hot take. I don't know. I just feel it in my gut. They missed out on Scherzer last year. Are they going to want to miss out on Soto? And could they convince Soto to stay there long term? I know they signed Tatis to that long term deal, and they got Machado locked up long term. They would have to find a way to get rid of Hosmer, but would they be able to convince Soto to stay there long term? I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. You would have control on Soto for another like year or two or something like that, but it's definitely something you got to think about. Philly Insider Podcast loves the idea of Merrill Kelly. Someone like Tyler Mayhill, Chad Kuhl, Jose Quintana is kind of where guessing they might be on a rental. Kelly or Brad Keller might be good with a year or two of control left. Oh, Phillies have the tiebreaker with the Padres. For some, I know they won that series in San Diego, 3-1. And I didn't San Diego win the series when they were here though, 2-1? Oh wait, I'm stupid. I'm fucking stupid. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I forgot it was a 4-game series, so technically, yes, the Phillies won that season series 4-3. I'm a fucking idiot. Look, I haven't mathed in a while. Even though math has nothing to do with it. It's just me being a stupid. Bring back Drew Smiley. No, thank you. No, thank you. I know he almost threw a no-hitter against us on Sunday through 5 innings, but no thanks. No thanks. Mayhill has another year of control and not a rental. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options on the trade market this year, especially for those depth type of starting pitchers, like those 3, 4, 5 type of guys. So the Phillies definitely do have their options. I would like a Merrill Kelly. That's the guy who would be on top of my list. Just got to see what happens. Honestly, just got to see what happens. Phillies won the series against Milwaukee, St. Louis, and San Diego. So the Phillies did put themselves in good territory, technically, winning those series against the teams that they are battling for, technically, in those wildcard spots. Because St. Louis and Milwaukee, they're going to be constantly battling back and forth for that central division. I think at the end of the day, Milwaukee might win that division, but we just got to wait and see. But they do, since the game 163 doesn't exist anymore, and tiebreakers are a thing now, Phillies put themselves in a good position, but still, at the end of the day, they need to take advantage of the schedule that they have in front of them, and they got to win their games. So right now, you got to make your move at the trade deadline. You got to figure out what happens. You got to win. I would like them for them to win tomorrow, though. I would. Marlins and the Tigers making almost everyone available could help us. Screwball and Pablo Lopez. Would the Marlins be willing to trade within the division now? That's the question mark there. That's something there. Joey Gallo, need a change of scenery, can play a lot of positions, and is another Vegas dude. Yeah, but I feel like if you bring Joey Gallo into the mix, you'll just bring another guy that's all power and home runs and strikes out a lot. Even though he's a fantastic defender, I don't think Philadelphia would mesh with him well. Yeah, the change of scenery definitely could be a thing for him, and who knows, maybe Kevin Long can fix his situation. But if I look at Joey Gallo overall, now I'm intrigued. Just by his stats in general. Go to Joey Gallo, his career. He is a career, if I look at his average, if I can find his average. Average. He is a career 202 hitter. 170 career home runs looking at his season this year and in New York. I know the Yankees fans hate him. He is batting 162 with 12 home runs and 24 RBIs. He is really struggling this year at the plate. Last year, he batted 160 after getting traded to New York. His best season overall was actually before he got traded to the Yankees. Actually, his best season overall hitting-wise, in terms of batting average, was 2019, where he batted 253. And then in 2021, he batted 199, but he had 38 home runs with 77 RBIs. Batting average, his best year was 2019. In terms of home runs, his best year was 2021. So, yeah, like you said, he is definitely. He also won a Gold Glove as well in 2020 and 2021. So he is a good outfielder. Would you want something like that on your team? Another guy that has a low batting average and can only hit for power. Is that something else that you want on this team? That's the question mark you have to ask yourself there. If you're a Phillies fan. Also, Castillo, Montas, Blackburn, Scoball, and Lopez should be the top arms, which could leave someone like Syndergaard available for cheap for the Phillies. Yeah, Syndergaard could be a low risk reward type of trade for the Phillies if they try to go after him there. He does have what was it, like a 1 year, $20 million contract that they signed him for with the Angels, I believe. Was it Noah Syndergaard's contract that they signed him to? Yeah, 1 year, $21 million. So, and looking at his stats this year, just in general, the Angels, I know the Angels overall have been a dumpster fire, complete dumpster fire. But look at this year's stats. He's 5-8 with a 3.83 ERA, 15 games started, 64 strikeouts, a 1.21 whip. Not terrible, but definitely, well, even though it is his first season back pitching in a while, so probably the best you could ask for him in that standpoint. Gallo would be interesting. Right field wall that's into the back park would help him with would welcome him in open arms. Can play center field fairly well. Might be an option for cheap, not opposed, but not all for it. Yeah, it's definitely an intriguing option, but it's not one of my first choices. I would preferably go for an Ian Happ over Joey Gallo, just because overall Ian Happ has been a lot better with the bat this year, batting like around 270, 280, both sides. And he could play a decent outfield. He's not a Gold Glover whatsoever, but he could play a solid outfield. It would definitely be an upgrade over any outfield that you have right now. So, like I said, if you go after an Ian Happ, you can maybe play him out there or put Fielding out there in center field for a time being. Put Ian Happ out right, DH Castellanos, like where he was originally supposed to be. And then maybe you do that up for a little bit until Harper comes back. So that's definitely something to think about right there. Then you go after the trade deadline, other parts there, and get more, starting pitching help. So there's definitely a lot of options that they can go for. So there's definitely something there. Definitely something there overall. Syndergaard has to pitch more to contact now because his fastball isn't as electric, but good bounce back season after the injury. Yeah, it's definitely a low risk, high reward type of thing with Syndergaard. I think that's the thing that the Angels took upon with him signing him to that contract. But just basically everything with the Angels this year has been just a goddamn dumpster fire. Like with how good they started the season off, everything has been shit since for Los Angeles. Overall, my God. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. My God. Thank God we're not the Angels, though. I would say thank God we're not the Angels. Actually, let me look at that. Look at the record overall. I just want to see it. Angels. Jesus Christ, they're 16 games below 500. They're 40-56. My God, someone get Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout out of that city. Please. Those two need to be in the playoffs. They cannot rot in LA or Anaheim any longer. My God. My God. But at the end of the day, the Angels are in the situation that they're in. And the Phillies are in the situation that they're in. Game out of the wild card spot, I said. Game out of the wild card? Half game out of the wild card. Because the Cardinals did lose. So, yeah. We don't need to add his center fielder, but we really wish we would. Not a great market, but you take... Oh, yeah, Michael A. Taylor is also a guy out there. And, like, Ian Happ is not, like, ideally a center fielder. He's more of a left/right fielder. But I do think there are rumors. I know one of the guys that is in our chat that's, like, affiliated. He said there's, like, a source out there that could be that the Phillies are talking about Ian Happ or something like that. So there's something around there, too. Basically, you just got to wait and see. Just got to wait and see. Oh, boy. Interesting times we are in, though. Definitely. Still disappointed in Aaron Nola today. Still very disappointed in him. Wish he had a better outing. But tomorrow, you need Kyle Gibson to go out there and pitch you a good game. You need the offense to find a way to get to Charlie Morton. That's basically all you got to do. You got to find a way. You just got to find a way. You got a chance to win the series tomorrow. 12:35 game. Very odd time for a Wednesday. Very odd time for a Wednesday game, though. Happ hasn't played center in a bit, but yeah, definitely a boost for the lineup. Definitely overall. Yeah, it's weird. Honestly, with a 12:35 game tomorrow, could you see some trades happen after the ball game? Possibly. I know the whole thing you saw this afternoon for the Cubs game because it's their last home game before the trade deadline. You saw that, what was it? The hug between, Contreras and Ian Happ. So you already know that Contreras is most likely going to be traded at the deadline. There's some talk about the Mets, heard the Rays, basically everywhere. Mets are definitely going to be involved in that talk for Contreras. So you never know what's going to happen in that standpoint. But still, overall, Phillies are going to make their moves at the deadline. Julian says they were talking about Victor Robles from the Nationals. He can't hit. Oh, yeah. Robles cannot hit for shit. He cannot hit for shit at all. So that's something that basically he's all defense and no batting. That's basically what he is. The Nationals, they're probably going to be fire sailing everyone they have. Soto, Josh Bell, Nelson Cruz, whatever they have, keeping all their young guys. Yeah, so Washington, once again, is going to be another fire sale. And they're just going to be even worse, hopefully worse, the next time they play the Phillies. Because Juan Soto gets traded, that makes them drastically worse from how bad they already were. Same thing with trading Josh Bell, trading Nelson Cruz, and all that stuff. So, yeah, that'll be very nice if you can see that happen. Scott says Happ would look good in Phillies red. Yeah, I do think they're going to look into Ian Happ, but I think right now they are going to focus on the starting pitching market right now more, just because that's what Dave Dombrowski said he's going to focus on more. But right now, I do, like I said, I don't expect any Phillies trades, most likely to be right before the deadline, just because of what Dave Dombrowski said of what the market is right now, just because of how crazy it is, because of how weak it is. Teams are asking for high things for not the best value type of player. So you just got to wait and see what happens. It's a patience type of thing. So the Phillies do have that off day before the trade deadline. So you gotta see. Mike Lowry says no, the Phillies are not going to be able to afford Montas. The Athletics are going to ask for way too much for him. Way too much. That's going to require if you go out after a Frankie Montas, they're going to ask for a guy like an Abe, Micabella, or a Painter in return. And the Phillies do not want to give him up. Dave Dombrowski has already stated that Micabella and Andrew Painter are untouchables. So that's not going to happen. SMH. Roman Laureano from the A's? Intriguing. Roman Laureano. Whitfield from the Royals as well. Yeah, there's also things right there. Let me look at Laureano. Baseball outfielder. Just look at his stats this year. This year he's batting .230, 10 home runs. Is he a good outfielder? How old is he? Doesn't even say right here. He's 27 years old this year. Career-wise, he's a .257 hitter. Yeah. Sounds like the Giants are in on Laureano. Painter will be an ace. Oh, yeah, Painter's going to be a stud, dude. And especially from what Dave Dombrowski was saying earlier, too, with the way that, Abel, Painter, and Griff McGarry can come up quickly, possibly. That's a positivity right there. And I think that's kudos to how Dave Dombrowski is shaping up the prospect system, specifically with the way, adding different types of, development things, coaches. He brought in Mattingly from the Yankees and all that stuff. He was basically restructuring the prospect development type of staff and everything like that. So you could put kudos to credit for that. If that does come to pass, you see these three type of pitchers, because Abel, Painter, McGarry, they're our three best pitching prospects right now. And I think McGarry's in AA right now, and both Painter and Abel are in single A. But if these guys rise up the ranks quickly, you got something intriguing right there. Definitely do. Definitely do. If Andrew Painter can come up, I know, I think Mr. W said that earlier in the chat. If Painter can come up and he does what Strider did today, even better. Laser Ramon. Let me see. Laser. Ramon Laureano. That's what you're talking about right here. He's been hurt, but he is really good on defense. Cannon for an arm from Philly Insider Podcast. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of intriguing pieces that the Phillies can go after. If Dave Dombrowski wants to specifically focus on defense, if he just wants to go out there with an outfielder that can give you good defense and also have a good bat, there's a lot of options out there. And I'm sure he's going to do his due diligence, do his research on everything, especially for starting pitcher as well. So there's definitely going to be a lot of things that they're going to do. So definitely do not threat on that standpoint. There's definitely going to be a lot of things that Dave Dombrowski is going to do. So yeah, basically where it is. So I think that's where we're going to call it, everyone. Going to head out, but love the stream. So thank you. Appreciate it. I was actually just going to end off the stream too. So you left at the right time. But overall, welcome at the last minute, Soto. How you doing? Long time no see. One last thing, Julian. Bottom line is they need to end this drought and make the playoffs. A major market team shouldn't take a decade. Oh yeah, I understand. I understand that frustration, Julian. No doubt. Yeah, you are hella late. You are hella late, but better late than never. Better late than never, I always say. But still, I'm going to end it off here, fellas. Phillies, they have a chance to take the series against the Braves tomorrow. Wish they would have did it today. I'm really disappointed in Aaron Nola, but you have to find a way. You got to treat tomorrow's game like one of the most important games of the season. I need Kyle Gibson to go out there and pitch a really good game, and I need the offense to hit Charlie Morton. I need the offense to break out in tomorrow's game. That's what I'm asking for, especially going into a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a series that you really need to win against a very bad opponent. So, and also when you're getting into basically the upcoming race into the trade deadline. So that's where I'm going to lead it off, everyone. Do not forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Do not forget to check out everything in the description but down below. Painted Lions, BrodesMedia, everything like that. I recommend it. I also recommend hitting that subscribe button. I also recommend using the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Use it for anything you can think of, concerts, sporting events, whatever you can think of. It's a great deal. Do not pass it up. I appreciate every one of you for joining the live feed as always. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next time.